Google Earth was built to map the planet. What it actually did was hand millions of ordinary people a way to stumble onto things that were never meant to be noticed. Ancient symbols, forgotten military hardware, and landscapes that still don't have a full explanation. Some of these are confirmed. Some are still debated by actual researchers. All 15 are real. Let's start in a desert most people have never heard of. In 2017, an archaeologist scanning satellite images of Saudi Arabia's volcanic fields noticed something odd. Long, rectangular stone structures, some over 300 feet across, scattered by the hundreds across the desert. He called them gates, because from above, that's exactly what they look like. Ground surveys later confirmed they're man-made, likely thousands of years old. But no one has figured out what they were actually for. That's still an open question in the archaeological community. But that's only the beginning, because Saudi Arabia isn't the only desert hiding geometry that shouldn't be there. In 2007, a Kazakh economist named Dmitry Day was browsing Google Earth for fun when he spotted a massive earthwork shaped like a square cut into the grassland below. He kept looking. Eventually, he'd found more than 260 of them. Squares, crosses, rings, some larger than a football stadium. Researchers still debate exactly how old they are, with estimates ranging from a few thousand years to considerably older. What's not in dispute is that from ground level, you'd walk right past them without ever knowing they were there. What was discovered next surprised even the researchers studying it. Scattered across the Great Plains are hundreds of decommissioned Minuteman missile silos, left over from Cold War arms reduction treaties. Their circular blast doors are still visible from orbit today, sitting quietly in the middle of working farmland. Most are sealed and empty now. A few have even been sold as private property, meaning somewhere in America, someone's storm shelter used to be built to survive a nuclear war. Off the coast of Dubai sits Palm Jumeirah, an artificial island built entirely from dredged sand, engineered into the unmistakable shape of a palm tree. It's large enough to be seen clearly from space, and it was designed that way on purpose, as a statement piece for the city's skyline. It kicked off a trend: entire archipelagos built purely to look impressive from above. The next stop looks almost identical in spirit, except this one wasn't planned by anyone. In July 2022, an explosion partially destroyed the Georgia Guidestones, a granite monument that had stood since 1980 and drawn conspiracy theories for decades. Authorities demolished the remaining structure hours later for safety reasons. Within weeks, updated satellite imagery showed the site as an empty, freshly cleared field, as if the monument had simply been erased. To this day, no one has been charged, and the identity of whoever built it in the first place is still officially unknown. In Mauritania sits a circular rock formation almost 25 miles wide, big enough that astronauts have used it as a landmark from orbit. Geologists once assumed it was an impact crater. It isn't. It's what's left of a dome of rock that rose up millions of years ago and eroded from the top down, layer by layer, like the world's largest onion cut in half. Scientists have a solid explanation for this one, but that hasn't stopped it from looking like something out of science fiction. The next location isn't nearly as well understood. Outside Tucson, Davis-Monthan Air Force Base hosts the largest aircraft storage facility on the planet. Over 4,000 retired military planes parked in rows across the desert. The dry climate keeps them from rusting, which is exactly why the Air Force chose the site decades ago. From the ground, it's a restricted zone. From orbit, it looks like a mechanical graveyard that stretches to the horizon. Off the coast of Yonaguni Island in Japan lies a submerged rock formation with strikingly straight edges and stair-like terraces, sitting about 80 feet underwater. A local diver found it in 1986. Since then, it's split the scientific community in two. Some geologists argue it's a natural sandstone formation, shaped by fractures and erosion. Others believe the sharp angles are too clean to be accidental. Neither side has fully convinced the other, and until someone does, the site stays exactly what it's always been, unsettled. What comes next has already been solved once and then rewritten. Everyone knows the Nazca lines. Fewer people know the count keeps growing. In 2019, researchers from Yamagata University used satellite imagery and later AI pattern recognition to identify more than 140 previously undocumented geoglyphs nearby. Birds, cats, humanoid figures, some so faint they're only visible under specific lighting conditions from above. The original lines were carved over 1,500 years ago. We're still finding new ones today. Across Europe, 16th and 17th century military engineers designed fortresses with sharp, star-shaped outlines, a defensive style built to eliminate blind spots for cannon fire. Fort Bourtange in the Netherlands and Palmanova in Italy are two of the best preserved examples still standing today. On the ground, they just look like small towns with oddly angled streets. From above, the entire design snaps into focus. Certain sites around the world show up on satellite maps pixelated, blurred, or quietly swapped out for older imagery. Some government buildings, select military installations, a handful of locations in countries like the Netherlands and India. Companies rarely explain exactly why a specific spot was altered, though national security requests are the most commonly cited reason. Online communities have spent years cross-referencing these blurred zones, trying to map out exactly what's being kept off the grid, and why some spots get the treatment, while nearby, arguably more sensitive sites don't. But hidden things aren't always secret. Sometimes they're just left behind. On the Potomac River in Maryland, more than 100 shipwrecks sit half-submerged in shallow water. Most of them wooden steamships built in a rush during World War I, then abandoned when the war ended before they ever saw real use. Locals call it the Ghost Fleet. Today, it's a protected marine sanctuary, and from above, the outlines of dozens of hulls are still clearly visible beneath the water, like a fleet frozen in the exact moment it was left to rot. Carved into a hillside in Chile's Atacama Desert is a humanoid figure roughly 280 feet tall, the largest known anthropomorphic geoglyph on Earth. Archaeologists believe it functioned as an astronomical marker, possibly tracking the position of the moon for ancient trade routes across the desert. It's so large that for centuries, no one standing near it could see its full shape. It took a view from directly above to reveal what it actually was. In the 1960s, the Aral Sea was one of the 4 largest lakes on the planet. Soviet irrigation projects diverted the rivers that fed it, and decade after decade, satellite images charted its collapse, first splitting the lake in 2, then shrinking each half into a fraction of its original size. Rusted fishing boats now sit stranded miles from any shoreline, on ground that used to be seafloor. NASA still uses this site as one of the clearest examples of environmental change visible from orbit. And that brings us to the very last one, the mystery nobody has cracked. In 1998, a pilot flying over a remote stretch of South Australia spotted something enormous carved into the outback. A humanoid figure over 2.5 miles long, holding what looks like a stick or boomerang. It's so large it can only be fully appreciated from the air. No one has ever officially claimed responsibility. Theories have pointed to artists, the military, even foreign governments. But more than 25 years later, the identity of whoever carved the Mari Man remains completely unconfirmed. It's one of the few genuine unsolved mysteries left on this list, and it's sitting in plain sight, visible to anyone with a satellite view and a reason to look down. Here's the part that's easy to forget. Almost none of these were found by professionals with million-dollar equipment. Most were spotted by regular people, scrolling around a free map app out of boredom. So the next time you've got 10 minutes to kill, open Google Earth. You might be the one who finds number 16. If this kept you hooked, subscribe. There's a lot more hiding out there.